It's so great to have everybody. Welcome to this session, session 2 of Introduction to Core Skills. And today we'll be focusing on communication and collaboration, digital literacy, and a little later on in session 2, we will be doing citizenship, personal development, and personal empowerment. Anyway, that's for later. But last week, Friday, we met and we engaged in some learning. And it's always important as part of our learning to recap. So this is a practice that is used in pedagogy to embed the learning and to see where the key learning points have been transferred. So this is what we're going to do. As you can see on the screen, I have here assessment for learning or assessment for recap, and I have a short quiz with 5 questions, and you're going to have 5 minutes. So that was the reason why I said, bring along a pen and paper, and I will start your time now. But Sis Voyo, can I allow you to very quickly just to read the questions so there's clarity and nobody is confused about any of the questions? Sis Voyo?
Okay, thanks, Molly. Afternoon, Bomen on that day. The first question is, list the 6 core skills that learners require to live, work, and thrive in the 21st century. So you can see it's highlighted there, the 6 core skills for the 21st century. Second question, state whether the following is true and or false. Embedding core skills across the curriculum has a positive impact on quality learning. Is that statement true or false? Embedding core skills across the curriculum has a positive impact on quality learning. Question number 3. Questioning is critical for deep learning. Name 2 types of questions that we practice in the session that can stimulate creativity and imagination and enterprising mindset. So 2 types of questions that stimulate creativity and imagination and enterprising mindset. Question number 4, explain which of the following steps in the Bloom's taxonomy lead to deep learning. CTPS, that is, explain which of the following steps in the Bloom's taxonomy lead to deep thinking. CTPS, those are the steps: evaluate, remember, analyze, understand, create, and apply. Which one leads to deep thinking? Number 5, what takeaways have you identified from the session, and how would you apply it in your school? So takeaways that you would apply in your school. So Molly, whilst I was reading, I was also putting emphasis on what you have highlighted. So those are the questions, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, so they had time to think about it. So now this time starts now, so we'll give 3 minutes. Sis Voyo, you want to keep time?
3 minutes, so we're stopping at 14:11. Yes. We are left with 1 minute. 1 minute left.
Feel free to shout bingo if you are done.
The time is up, Molly.
Okay. So do we have bingos? Bingo?
Are there people in the house?
Rafiwe? Okay, so time is up. Can you unmute everybody and just say hello, please? Everybody unmute and say hello. Dumelang?
Hello.
Good?
Hello.
Great. Okay, I can hear you. Great. So very quickly, can we go through the questions? Have you completed the task? You had sufficient time. So question number 1, what are the 6 core skills that we learned for young people to live, work, and thrive in the 21st century? Yes. Quickly, we need to do this quickly because I need to hand over to Sis Vuyo. What are the 6 core skills?
Hello.
Yes. Yes. Go ahead.
Hello. My name
I think research skills.
okay, creative and imagination,
Yes.
student leadership, digital literacy, citizenship, collaboration and communication. Thank you.
Well done. Halala to you. Very good. Next one. State question 2. What is the answer? True or false?
It's true.
Good.
True.
True. Anybody else says true?
Yes, it's true.
Yes.
It's true.
Yes.
Wonderful. Well done. Number
It's true.
3. Questioning is critical for deep learning. What are the 2 types of questions that we practiced? For creativity. Remember, I showed you the pictures. What were the 2 kinds of questions?
Why do you think?
Yes, and why questions, and what was the other kind of question?
Which?
Not which, it was 2 types, why and?
Hello.
Yes.
How?
Yes, how? But the ones that we practiced, remember
How?
we saw the children sitting in the cold. What kind of questions did we
How?
use?
How?
How, why, and what else? Why, how? But more importantly, for an enterprising mindset.
We have got 2 types of questions.
Yes.
Open-ended questions.
I can't hear that.
Closed questions and open.
Yes, they are open and closed questions. But what particular question did we use in the pictures that we did? Remember with the children sitting with the blanket? We used why questions, and then what was the other one that we used? Kunene used those questions as well.
What?
Yes, what if? Yes, why and what if questions. What if questions create an enterprising mindset? Well done. Explain which of the following steps in Bloom's taxonomy leads to deep thinking. So which of the, I'm looking for 3 here. Which 3 leads to deep thinking?
Evaluate.
Evaluate, Grabe. Yes, evaluate.
Analyze.
Right.
Yes, analyze. And what else?
Create.
Final one?
And
Create.
Yay, well done. And finally, that was for your own purpose. What takeaways have you identified from this session and how will you apply it? Anybody, just give me one thing that you took away, one thing that you learned that you can go and apply in your school or you can use yourself as a leader. One learning point that you identified. Something that you
The
learned.
neatness for assessment for recap.
Assessment for recap. Okay, brilliant. And anybody else?
Yes. Question in
What else did you learn on Friday?
Question in pitfalls. Hello?
Yes.
Question in pitfalls. Development of quizzes.
Development of?
Quizzes.
Oh, quizzes. Okay. But on Friday, what else did you learn on Friday?
Saturday.
On Saturday, critical thinking and problem solving. What did you learn there? We did all types of things. We did Bloom's taxonomy, questioning. We learned about the SDGs. Why, what and what if questions. So what will you take away?
The Bloom's taxonomy being changed into upside down and being placed over the sea.
Wow, wonderful. Great. So if you look at this quiz that I developed, this is my last point. I've actually used Bloom's taxonomy. Question 1, 2, and 3 are level 1 questions. Question 4, explain, that's a level 2 question. And number 5,
Okay.
that is a level 3 question. It's a question for deep learning. So thank you very much for that. I'm going to stop learning. Sis Boyo, over to you.
Thanks, Pauline. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Bomenontate, to our third session. And the course is still Introduction to Core Skills, and we are now in session 3, and session 3 basically is about collaboration and communication and digital literacy. So we are dealing with 2 core skills today: collaboration and communication and digital literacy, meaning that since last week, we would have covered by now 4 core skills. Last week, we did critical thinking and problem solving, and we also did creativity. So today is collaboration and communication and digital literacy. And ladies and gentlemen, this is actually a continuation of what we did last week. That is why Molly had to recap and remind you of what we did last week. And what we did last week basically was to share the 6 core skills, and from the 6 core skills, we move on to action planning, which we are going to infuse today. And we also looked at questioning and the Bloom's taxonomy. We ended up with you looking at the challenges that you are experiencing in your school. So keep in mind what we did last week, because it's going to come in ground rules, ladies and gentlemen. And what are the learning outcomes? What do we want to achieve in this session? In this session, we are going to analyze communication and collaboration patterns in the classrooms. The second thing that we're going to be doing is to apply collaboration, communication, and digital literacy skills to leadership and your school situation through developing ideas for school project. When you look at those 2 bullets, it's actually showing you that the core skills are not only meant for the classroom, they are also there to assist you in your leadership and in managing your school. So you need them both for the classroom and outside the classroom. The third outcome is basically to look at ground rules for collaborative group work. So you will have an activity where you design ground rules that you will use in your own school. And then we do a self-assessment for digital literacy. This is an activity that I gave you before class that you must browse through. So we are going to be finishing up that activity. And then we'll be discussing issues related to digital literacy in your school, meaning that we are building up on that activity that was posted in your WhatsApp group. And then apply ideas from this session into their own context. At the end of the day, when you have gained all the information, all the knowledge, and all the skills, you will be required basically to take the challenge that you have identified last week and you plan on it, you collaborate and communicate about the project that you have chosen for your school. And I'm going to take you now.
Sorry, Sis Boyo.
Yes.
Boyo, can you put your slide on slideshow, please?
It's not on slideshow. Okay. I want you now basically okay. I want you now to basically go do an activity on Mentimeter that I am going to be sharing with you now. There's an activity on Mentimeter that I'm sharing with you now. Can you see it on my slide?
No, we cannot see it. I'm only seeing your first slide.
You are seeing my first slide?
Just check with the other participants. And it's not on slideshow. Can we check with the others? Rafiwe?
It's coming. It's
Okay.
coming, but it's slow.
Okay.
I don't see anything.
Can we not do the activity on the slide, Sis Boyo? Sis Boyo, we can't see anything.
You can't see anything?
Yes. Can we do the activity on the slide, please?
No, you can't see, you can't do it on the slide. I am going to basically okay, can you see it now?
No, I'm not seeing anything. Rafiwe, can you see anything?
Yeah, but
No, you cannot see anything.
They cannot see anything. Can we just do the activity? Can you just talk them through the activities, Ms. Boyo? Or would you like me to share share the slides?
Hello, Vio.
Hello.
This is Leslie from Kuching. I'm using my teacher's device here. So I was just commenting on that point whereby you are giving us a slide and we cannot, we cannot be able, we are not able to see the slide that we are talking about. And I think if you will give us that activity, we shall pay attention to it very carefully. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Boyo, would you like me to share my slides?
Yes, you can share. You can share my slides that I posted to you.
Or you want your slides? Okay. Okay, you can stop sharing.
Hello.
Can you stop sharing your slides, Ms. Boyo? I can still see your slides.
You can still see my slides.
Yes.
There's something wrong with my computer, guys.
I'll try to share.
Perhaps maybe you need to log off and log back in.
That's what I'm trying to do now.
Okay, can you see my slides? Faris, can you see my slides?
Yes, we can see your slide, Molly.
Oh, I think Ms. Boyo can just carry on from here.
I can't see a thing from my computer, unfortunately.
Okay. You can't see anything?
I can't see a thing from my computer.
Okay. Can you see your own slides?
No.
You can't see your slides as well?
My computer is gone.
Okay, fine. Fine.
Okay, so maybe we should just take like a minute break or so and give Vuyo an opportunity to maybe restart her computer.
While she's doing that, I can just show them the outcomes because they missed those slides. Can I just continue while Ms. Boyo is carrying on there?
Sure.
Yeah. So thank you very much. So ladies and gentlemen, in fact, we are doing some upskilling currently, and these are some of the difficulties that one experiences, or not difficulties, challenges that we have with online learning. So just a matter about being patient. It's just a matter about having a plan B. So I'm going to be taking over while Ms. Boyo tries to sort out her laptop. So these challenges occur, and thank you very much for being so patient. So the slide that you didn't see was, imagine oh, I think that's the wrong one. Sorry. Okay, so collaboration and communication and digital literacy. Can you see these two skills together is called skills for interacting. So it's a manner in which we communicate with each other, the manner in which we transact with each other. So this is why these two skills are linked together. So these are the outcomes. So can I ask Rafiwe or Leslie, shall I ask Leslie to quickly read the outcomes so everybody has it in front of them and they know where we are going? So Leslie.
Okay, thank you, Molly. Can I continue?
Yes, please. Thank you.
By the end of this session, participants should be able to analyze communication and collaboration patterns in their classrooms. 2, apply collaboration, communication, and digital literacy skills to their own leadership and school situations through developing ideas for a project. 3, establish and use ground rules for collaborative group work. 4, self-assess their digital literacy skills. 5, discuss an issue related to digital literacy in their schools. And lastly, apply ideas from the session to their own school context. Thank you, Molly.
Thank you so much, Leslie. Brilliantly articulated. Thank you so much. And I think that last point, Leslie, you will have to agree with me. It's all about applying the ideas from this session in your own school context. So what is it that I'm learning and how can I apply it at school? So I want that to be right at the top of our minds. So look at these outcomes now. What are your expectations? So what do we expect from this session, session 3, on core skills for interacting? What is your expectation? What do you want to take away from today? What do you want to know more about? I just want to hear from 1 or 2 people maybe. Now that Leslie has read out the outcomes, what is it you want to take away from today? Anybody? Yes? Pussy, are you there?
Yes, please. My name is Rimpo.
Okay.
We may have so many ideas, but putting things into practice is most essential things. Thank you.
Absolutely. So what do you want to put in practice from the outcomes there? Which one you want to know more about?
I want this. How can my learners, especially because they are young, how can they apply this communication and collaborating, especially digital literacy, in their classrooms? Thank you.
Brilliant. And you even turn that into an inquiry question. How can my learners use this in the classroom? Thank you so much. So moving along, and we come here to this point, right? Remember the leader project that you did? Right? You did this activity on the chat and some brilliant ideas came up. You talked about absenteeism, you talked about late coming, you talked about dropout rate, you talked about conflict, you talked about lack of collaboration, and there were some great ideas that came up in the chat, right? And we want to appreciate the fact that you shared that all of these ideas were very valid, they were real for you, right? So now we just want to spend maybe 1 or 2 minutes talking about these ideas. So at this point, I want to bring in the idea of JPD. Now, anybody knows what JPD stands for? It's an acronym. What does it mean? JPD. I'll give you a clue. The J is for joint. Anybody? JPD. So what is JPD? Okay, so JPD is joint practice development. What does it mean? It means leaders can use it, teachers can use it. What do they use it for? Teachers and leaders use joint practice development to work as teams, to work collaboratively, to work collectively on a project. Teachers work collaboratively as a team on lessons, and lesson plans in terms of how they want to improve their practice. In short, it's about working smart and not working hard, so that one person doesn't have to do all the work, but there's a lot of sharing, a lot of learning, and a lot of joint practice development where we learn from each other and improve our own practice. So at this point, we want to propose an idea for the implementation in your school in terms of how you go about implementing this core skill in your school. And this is the idea that we want to suggest, that we have approximately 32 to 33 school leaders, and many of you highlighted that teacher absenteeism and late coming was a problem. So, can I just have you to unmute and a little shout out, yes, that is a problem in my school. I want honest, open and honest feedback. If absenteeism and student late coming is a problem at your school, I want you to unmute and say, yes, it is.
Yes, it
Yes, it
is.
is.
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
yes, yes,
Yes, it is.
yes, it is.
Yes,
Yes.
it is.
Okay. Can I then make an assumption? Thank you very much. Can I make an assumption that this is a problem that exists in many of the schools in Lesotho? Yes, there are a number of problems. Yes. But what we are saying, in order for there, remember Sis Voyo spoke about quality learning. In order for there to be quality teaching and learning, we are saying at the British Council, two things are very important. We need teachers in school. What quality learning is going to happen if there are no teachers at school? Secondly, we need learners in school on time. And I'm sure you're not going to disagree with me. So we are suggesting, we are not prescribing, we are suggesting that the principals, whether it's 10, 20, 15, you are free to implement your own project, but if you feel that this is a burning issue in your school and you really want to address this issue, we are suggesting that be it 10, 15, 20 school leaders come together and we have a strong professional learning community to address the problem or the challenge of teacher absenteeism and of learner late coming. What do you think of this idea? Do I have a halala for that idea? Are you in favor of that idea where we work together in order to address this issue? Is there a halala for this idea? So I want you to unmute and give me a halala so I know I got the thumbs up.
Halala.
Halala, I got one halala.
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 Lala.
Halala.
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 Halala. Halala. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I got about 10 halalas. That's brilliant. At this point, I'm going to pause. And Sharon, are you there?
I am, yes, I am.
So Sharon, I'm going to bring you in at this point to just elaborate and expound on the ideas that we were talking. So facilitators and Sharon, myself, Sis Vuyo, Tabisa, jointly we have come up with this idea, and I'm going to allow Madam Sharon to elaborate a little bit more. So Sharon's over to you, sis.
Thank you, Molly. I just wanted to reiterate what Molly said about the professional learning community. I think you are under extraordinary stresses now because of COVID, and obviously being closed for so long, things are very difficult for you. So if we can take this opportunity to work together and work as a remote and a close cluster, because some of you are close to each other. I can see today even people have joined forces because they're having issues with their phones. So, you know, this is an issue that we can address together and apply practically. I think a lot of the workshops and a lot of the learning that you've had previously for leadership and management ends up being academic, and it's very, very difficult to apply it in your context. So I think using this as an opportunity to work together and try things out and use our WhatsApp group and our cluster support to help come up with some solutions, that could be step one on a very exciting journey. So I think it's an excellent idea to do this together.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you for the support. So I'm invigorated. I feel re-energized that we can work together collaboratively on this joint practice development, and we can call it a supported learning, where we address a very specific issue that most leaders are experiencing, and together we can address this issue and come up with tangible solutions that we can measure. I am just so excited about it. So I think already you can start thinking about how many teachers are absent per day, how many learners are coming in late, how many teachers are absent per week, how many learners. So let us start gathering those evidence now. Let's go back to school tomorrow. Let's gather our evidence, and that will be quite easy to do. Ask yourself, who's going to help me? Who's going to champion this cause? For example, you can see Madam Sharon is so excited, Voyo is excited, I'm excited. So you're not going to get people who are not going to be excited about it. Ask yourself, am I on school on time? Am I regular? So leadership begins with you. So ask yourself, am I being a good leader? Am I setting a good example? So any comments on that? So I'll take one or two comments before I move on. Any comments on that, on implementation of the project? Yes? What do you think? I want to hear from you, because you, the leaders, are going to be implementing this project in your school, or you can call it an assignment. Sis Voyo, are you back?
Yes, I am, my dear.
Are you, can I stop sharing? Would you like to take over?
Yes.
Are you happy to do that? Okay, so at the point where we spoke about our collaborative effort, and I'm sure, did you manage to hear Madam Sharon also made her input and supporting the idea of joint practice development? So can I stop sharing at this point? I'm just waiting for some feedback. Can I stop sharing? Can I stop sharing, Sis Voyo?
Yes, you can stop sharing.
Okay. Okay, I see you've opened your share tray.
It looks like my network is a bit low today.
Okay. Can you see my slide?
Yes, we can see.
Okay,
Yes.
so since you were the first one, I want to invite you to comment on the proposal and the suggestion that we are making. What do you think?
Should I proceed?
Yes, please. Thank you so much.
Yes, I do think that the joint practice for development is a very good thing, because what might be the problem at one school cannot be the problem with the other. So joining together, discussing the issues and coming up with the solution, you shall see to it that in most cases when you do that, you are almost empowering each other, so that when one is empowered, is well empowered enough, can bring a change or to a problem that might be at his or her school.
Absolutely.
In most cases in Lesotho, we do have the centers. The centers, we are just groups of certain schools that are grouped within the district. And by the time that things are normal, we used to meet monthly and we normally discuss the challenges and means of overcoming the challenges from individual schools. So I do see to it that such kind of things, when they can happen regularly, the problems or the challenges that faces one school can get the resolutions.
Great. So you are supporting that idea. I love what you are
Yes,
saying.
I do support the idea.
Brilliant. And this is an opportunity, as I said, for us to work together as a team and to bring about a tangible difference, because if we want quality learning for our learners, let's not only talk about it, let's do something about it. So about action, a luta continua. We want action. Great.
That's excellent.
Brilliant. So that is about our joint project. So let's get excited about it. I like us to get excited about things and how we're going to move forward. I can already see a resolution. I can already see an improvement in teacher attendance. I can already see an improvement. So it's about having this vision. What do you see ahead and knowing how to get there? And I know, given the brilliance that we have in the room, we certainly can do it. So that is our leader project. And think about how we can use communication and collaboration and digital literacy in this project as well. So with using all the core skills that we have learned. Now, let's get into, it's time now to communicate, and let's ask ourselves. So let us look at these questions, okay? Mrs. Buyo, do you want to take over at this point?
Yes, I can take over. Thanks, Molly, for holding the fort. Okay, let me continue. You have now agreed that you are going to have this joint practices where you are dealing with your challenges, and it's good because it's not something that you are starting afresh. It's something that has been in existence in Lesotho. I want you now to look at your challenges that you have highlighted and respond in the WhatsApp. I'll give you 5 minutes. Who are you going to communicate and collaborate within your school when you are dealing with the challenge of lateness, when you are dealing with the challenge of absenteeism, when you are dealing with dropout, when you are dealing with vandalism, when you are dealing when you are dealing with teenage pregnancy. I'm trying to bring in the things that you have shared in the WhatsApp group. Who are you going to communicate and collaborate with when you are dealing with those things?
The teachers.
The teachers come in. Who else?
The community in our...
The school board.
The community.
School board.
Remember the ground rules. We have said when you are going to speak, you raise your hand, or you write in the chat, or you write in the WhatsApp, so that we give each one of you space to debate. Okay, the first one is teachers, the second one on your chat, or you raise your hand. Molly, you will read what comes in the chat.
Okay, I've got it open.
Fusi's hand is up. Fusi's hand is up. Fusi and Kolikana, in that order, can you come in? Who are you going to communicate with?
You?
Yes, Fusi.
Am I okay?
Yes, you're okay.
Thank you, Megan. I think under all the problems that you have mentioned, the teachers, as I'm working with all the time, they are the ones that we should share the problem with.
Yes.
From there, there is a school committee that can play another important role to assist me solving some problems like the one the ones mentioned. Thank you, Madam.
Okay, your teachers and your school committees. What I like is you know that there are structures in your school and those structures are made of people. So time and again, you have to collaborate with them. And then the next one, Kolikana, your hand is up.
No, I'm sorry.
Sisbuyo?
Yes.
Vic says teachers and parents.
Parents.
Intati says teachers, even the students will be involved, but individually.
Students.
And Limpo says teachers, school board, community, and individual teachers and students.
Yes. And why we are teachers and even students will be involved. Why I am asking this question, it is we want to highlight the fact that as a manager, you have to communicate with quite a number of people in your school when you have challenges. For instance, when you have got challenges of late coming by the teachers, you need to ensure that you communicate with your teachers. You ask them, how do we deal with this? You bring the policy of the school into consideration, or if there's none, you still have to draft it together with them. If it's learner absenteeism and lateness, you deal with the learners, you share with them the code of conduct, they come up with suggestions, you bring parents on board, because I remember in your WhatsApp group, one of you mentioned that sometimes learners are not coming to school because they are requested to go and herd the cows there, or it's dipping days. You need to consult the parents, you need to consult the school committees, you need to consult your management, you need to consult your students, sometimes individually, depending on the case that you are dealing with, or you meet them as the whole broad learner community. And so bring everyone, that's the reason. So when you plan, ask yourself, who am I going to communicate with? Okay, may I ask a second question? Just reflect back at your school. From 8 o'clock when you start the school up until the end of the school day, who do you communicate with? Who do you spend much of the time communicating with in any given school day?
Sisbuyo, there were also some comments that came up in the chat.
Yes.
Teachers and would communicate with teachers and discuss the issue together, which was a valid point.
Yes.
If the issue continues, we call the board. I don't know how you feel about that. And teachers and schoolyard communities. And then Tuli says, remember, you deal with people, your teachers, you are looking for effectiveness. And she says, choose your champions wisely. And you want people who will be excited and inspirational. When you deal with things, other resources, you have to look for efficiency. And then we have Matsepe, we can discuss school policy and regulations. So those are some of the points that came up with regarding your previous question.
Okay, thanks, Molly. The current question now is, look at a typical school day. Who do you spend your time communicating with? For 2 minutes. Any hand up? There's a hand up. There's one hand up. It's the number, so I don't know the name. Can you take the mic and speak?
Hello.
Yes.
I spend a lot of time communicating with the learners.
Yes. Yes. Okay. What are
And,
others saying?
and teachers too, but mostly
Teachers and the learners.
So during any school day, you spend time with your learners and with
yes.
your teachers. Any other person beyond that?
No, mostly learners and teachers.
Mostly learners and teachers. Okay.
Yes.
Is that ideal?
Yes.
That is ideal.
Yes, it is. It is ideal.
Is there anything that you would like to change?
No. So,
In fact, not necessarily. Okay, I know, Molly. It's just that I'm rushed for time. One of the things we have said last week is you need to interact with many people as possible. So your day in a school should be spent with your learners. It should be spent with your teachers, basically sometimes with you visiting the classroom. Sometimes you spend it with the heads of department or other school management team, so that you basically share. Ideally, in a school day, those are the people that you need to spend time with. The next slide, Molly. Okay, I want you now in your WhatsApp group, you think about ground rules that you need for group discussions. Ground rules that you need for group discussions. Ground rules. For instance, in fact, let me not tip you, just continue. Ground rules for group discussions. Can you write on your WhatsApp ground rules for discussion groups?
Sizibuye, we got some points coming in. Every member should be give an input in the group. There should be a leader in the group. Raise up hands when you want to speak.
Okay. Yes, those are good. Respect one another.
Yes.
Time management.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Thanks about that, Molly.
All members should participate.
Participate.
All members should basically participate. Okay.
One person to report.
One person to report.
Phones to be on silent mode, no noise around.
Phones to be on silent mode and not around. Yes. In fact, it's very, if I can sum up, it is very important that you have these ground rules, and because they are going to guide and basically ensure everything that you have mentioned there, and you need to have an agreement. You know, the reason you have these ground rules is to ensure that everyone participates. If you look at how we have done things in the past 2 weeks, I will basically post activities in your in your WhatsApp group for group discussions, and I will say everyone must basically participate. I would encourage people to say share best practices, because that's the platform. I would basically say take the risk. There is nothing wrong that you are going to say. Just give an input. And I will say, when I see that one or two of the group members are not really active, basically, I will say, so and so, may you please share your input, because everyone has something to say. It's a pity that my computer is giving you problems, because I have adapted the slides and included the guides of interactions from the British Council, which basically might also assist you when you are crafting the group ground roles for your schools. I have just posted them in your WhatsApp group. And basically, when you look at these guides of interaction, when you look at guides of interaction, these are ground rules for group work. And we are looking, when they were drafted, we're looking at them from the angle of appreciative inquiry and from a positive angle. I will just look at them there. This is a free space, so take your discussion, hold your assumptions lightly. There will be disagreements when you are in a group, but ensure that you have got a way of accepting disagreements. Honor risk taking. This is a risk, you know. Honor time. It is a precious resource. That is why you have said in the WhatsApp, time management. Stay in the present. When you are in a group discussion, forget about your phone, forget about messages that are coming into your phone. Only those messages that are in line with the discussion that is taking place, you can only entertain, okay? And again, questions are as important as answers, and all of you must have an opportunity, you know, during discussion, meaning that as principals, when you have group discussions or staff meetings, it is very, very important that by the end of that meeting, you have heard and listened to all the views that are raised by the staff. If one is silent, don't assume that he or she has got nothing to say. You rather pose a question to that person. Okay? Can we move on to the next one, Molly?
Yes, there was also some other valuable input, sharing of information amongst team members. I thought that was a good one, so I'm just it was came in on the chat.
Yes, this is what I mentioned as best. These group ground rules are basically meant to ensure that there's sharing of best practices. And why I was saying, principal, make it a point that when one is quiet, you probe that person using using questions, okay, as discussed last week. Now there's an activity on digital literacy. This is an activity that I have posted in your WhatsApp group, and I wanted you to do a bit of a self-evaluation, you know, and I'm going to give you 2 minutes now to self-assess yourself on digital literacy at a scale of 1 to 10. At a scale of 1 to 10, assess yourself in that tool that I'm going to post in your WhatsApp group. I know some of you have already done it, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that you have done that activity. Molly, can you look at the time for me for this activity? Are you there, Molly?
Yes, I am, sis.
Okay. I'm going to give you 2 minutes
Okay.
to browse through that activity. And after that, I will randomly ask people to respond. I'll ask people to respond, randomly ask people to respond to that question.
One more minute.
1 more minute. Okay. I would ask, like, Tinyane, are you in the room? Tinyane, are you in the room? Yes, I've seen Makatli, so that you have posted it. There are quite a number of you. Tinyane has posted, Makatli has posted, Mr. Poker has posted, Fosi have inquired in the Google Classroom. Tinyane, are you in the classroom? Tinyane?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, okay, you have responded, you know, and I have seen that there are parts where you have given yourself a 1 and you want to be at 10. What steps are you going to take to ensure that you are at 10? Like, for instance, when I look at, I create opportunities for teachers and students to communicate with teachers and students in other schools. You have given yourself a 1 and you want to be at 10. How are you going to move from 1 to 10? Can you share that?
Okay, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you very much. I was very much interested in number 4, whereby it says the use of YouTube for playing videos and websites in the classroom. I have a thinking that the use of videos will reinforce my concept in the classroom. So learners can watch the videos time and again and practice a certain skill for a long time.
Yes.
The website can provide a means of some research.
Yes.
I can just give a concept to learners, then they go to the website to find information by themselves.
Okay.
By so doing, I can lead learners towards independent learning.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, the other one is creation of school websites is also important.
Yes.
The teacher can put information into the website and learners can check it whenever it is necessary.
Yes. Thanks. Thanks for that. I'll have to give another person. So when you are at 1, it means you need to have an action plan, a series of steps, like Mr. Tinyane has basically shared with us, having that website, ensuring that your learners are basically interact with the website. I want now, Mr. Poker, are you in the room? Mr. Poker, are you in the room? If Mr. Poker is not in the room, Makatluso, are you in the room?
I'm in the room, ma'am.
Yes, Mr. Poker. Mr. Poker, I have noticed that in some of the items, you are already at 10. What is your strategy to ensure that you share with your teachers, because I noticed that where you are at 10 in most of the things, but some of the teachers that you're working with are still at 1. What strategies are in place to share the best practices that you are having with your school and other schools in the community of practice?
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
I think one of the things that I do, I have perseverance.
Yes.
Yeah, if I know something, I always like to share it with my colleagues.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so I don't stop there. I just want to share it with other neighboring schools. So that's why I just put 10 there.
Okay. So you are ready to share with others. You've got a schedule that you're going, when you meet as the people that you're going to collaborate with in terms of communication and collaboration, you are going to say, let's infuse digital literacy. Is that part of your plan?
That's it, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Let's move on. Now that you have assessed yourselves in areas where you are 1, please sit down, because all those things are basically there to ensure that you implement digital literacy in your classrooms. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Then there's an activity there. There's an activity basically on how you are monitoring digital literacy. Again, let me apologize, guys. I have prepared for the session. I've prepared for the session. I have the slides to make this thing much more easier. Unfortunately, my network has been playing games with me. One of the things when you are talking about digital literacy, I'm going to be with you, Mr. Fossey. One of the things when you are talking about digital literacy, you need to understand that digital literacy, it's at the center of communication and collaboration. And one of the things that we're putting emphasis on in the British Council is whenever you are talking about digital literacy, communication, and collaboration, you need to ensure that you understand the acronym, which I call it ACE, 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 not ACE Mahashula, but ACE, ACE. That ACE stands for, we have digital literacy so that learners can be able to access information. And when they have access information, take that raw information and create something using the information that they have researched. And lastly, they need to basically evaluate. And that ACE is access, create, and evaluate. And basically, when you look at that digital literacy, there are principles that you need to observe before we come to this activity. One of the things, whenever you are in the digital literacy space and you are communicating, you need to ensure that you are safe, because there is a risk in digital literacy. Risk of your particulars, risk of cyberbullying for learners. So you need to ensure that you protect yourself and you protect your learners. And secondly, as I have said, in the digital literacy space, you need to ensure that learners are there in order to find, evaluate, and apply information, as required. And if they are able to find, evaluate information, it means they are able to zoom in what we were dealing with last week, which is critical thinking and problem solving. The other thing that is very important for learners is they need to understand social responsibility. When you are basically in the social media, you need basically to post things and ensure that you are responsible. You don't just post things for the sake of posting them. Understand the things that you are basically posting. And if you understand things that you are posting, then in that way, you will basically be ensuring that there's cultural and social understanding. And that takes you to the next core skill that Molly will be dealing with: personal development, leadership, and citizenship. You know, you don't post things for the sake of posting things. Another thing, one of the things that we need to be doing is to ensure that people have got all the necessary skills. We are not going to do that activity that is basically on the board. It is going to be your post session activity, which you are going to submit in the Google Classroom and in your WhatsApp. Are we together? Okay. Can you, Molly, take me to the first slide, the very first slide, where we're talking about learning outcomes. Okay. In terms of the learning outcomes, I just want to check if we have achieved, you know, what we have. It's a pity, you know, I am hating, guys, that I could not share the slides that I have prepared, because it was more interactive than what I am actually doing now. What is very important is you need to be able to analyze communication and collaboration patterns. For instance, learners in your classroom need to understand that you as a leader, when you are interacting with your educators, you need to do that. I hope you have understood that. And whenever there's communication and collaboration, you apply that. That is why we have given you a task that you must implement after this session. Take your challenge, look at who you're going to collaborate with, and then you start implementing it. And as you are implementing your challenge, ensure that you have got ground rules, okay? Ground rules. And these ground rules are not coming from one person, as we have said. You need to ensure that these ground rules are discussed by all involved. Again, you have assessed your digital literacy just now. Your activity now is basically to develop an action plan in terms of how you are going to develop yourself on digital literacy skills. We are going to meet after this because there's still a lot that we need to do in terms of implementing each and every step on those. I will guide you in the course of the week on how you develop those. Thank you very much, Molly. You can move on to the next session.
Thank you so much, Sis Vuyo. And I think halala to Sis Vuyo for remaining so calm under difficult circumstances. Let's give a big halala to Sis Vuyo.
Halala Vuyo.
Halala.
Halala.
And such an important skills for interacting that Sis Vuyo was dealing with, but not to worry, because that will be sent to you, and as Sis Vuyo pointed out, it will be on the Google Classroom, so you still will be able to interact with that. Sis Vuyo, you doing okay there?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay, fine. So thank you for that. So those were skills for interacting. Over to core skills for taking action. Now, what it's called, I want an operative word being action. So these two core skills, student leadership and personal development, and citizenship, combined together are called core skills for taking action. Now, can I ask, who shall I get? So one person to quickly read for me the outcomes so we know where we are and where we are going. outcomes. Leslie, you want to do it again since you did it so well? We'll make you the outcomes expert, Leslie.
Hello, Molly.
Yes, please go ahead. Start with
Oh,
imagine the kind of citizens, the first one.
The first one, thank you very much.
Thank you, Leslie.
The first one reads thus: apply leadership,
No, the
personal
one before
development.
that, sorry. Imagine the kind of citizens.
Okay, okay, thank you very much for your guidance. Imagine the kind of citizens they would like their students to become. Apply leadership, personal development, and citizenship skills to their own leadership and school situations through developing ideas for a project. Define and discuss global citizenship. Discuss the development of citizenship skills among their students. Apply the experience of designing their leader projects to discussion about the development of teacher and student projects to develop student leadership, personal development, and citizenship. And lastly, apply ideas from the session to their own school context. Thank you very much, Molly.
Thank you so much, Leslie. So as you can see, the focus here is on student leadership and personal development and on citizenship. And I'm going to go a little bit further to say not just citizenship, but active citizenship. So what are your expectations? What do you hope to gain from the session? What do you hope to learn from the session? Can I hear from somebody? Looking at those learning outcomes, what you want to learn more about, what you want to gain from the session. So it's about creating expectation. So this is also a strategy that you can use with your teachers and teachers can use in the classroom by asking learners about expectations. Yes, you can put it in the WhatsApp group as well and I will look at it. Or you can unmute and let me know. Sis Voyo will help me with your hands up. What expectation do you have?
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, I'm expecting to know how to prepare students to be future leaders after this.
To prepare young people to be leaders. And thank you very much. It's firstly about having the belief that young people do have the ability to become leaders. So great. And just check to see if your expectations are being met. Brilliant. Thank you so much for that. Moving along. So here you can see the skills again, the core skills. Can you see in yellow and dark pink? These skills, citizenship, student leadership, and personal development, collectively or together, they are now called skills for taking action, where we want young people to create awareness about especially this sustainable development goals, be aware about it, and also to know what actions to take in order to be a responsible citizen. We have rights. What are our responsibilities? Great. So that just to embed that idea, and then the leader project. So we had certain ideas about the leader project. I just want to bring it back into the room. So between what I said and what Madam Sharon said, what have we decided about our leader project? What are we going to be doing in terms of embedding this, implementing it in our schools? So remember, with each core skill, we go back to the leader project. So can you tell me about the leader project? Have you got any ideas now about your leader project? Any ideas that have come up? It's all about getting ideas, innovating, creating. Yes? Okay, to read student desire as they learn. As they learn for their future. Great, I love for their future. We're not preparing young people for the past, we are preparing them for the future, right? And the leader project is very, very valuable, right? How will this project that you are doing, that we spoke about, contribute to your own professional development and leadership skills and your teacher's professional development and leadership skills? So here we're talking about leadership, we're talking about personal development. Let us look at the next point. Would somebody like to read that? I want to hear your voices. I love your voices. They are so beautiful. Who would like to read? Rafiwe, are you there? Kunene? Dimpo?
To read which one, madam?
Yeah, to read these points here in terms of your leadership project. So I read number 10. Can you read number 11 quickly?
How could this project contribute to students' leadership skills and personal development? Is Tabani here?
Tabani, thank you. Yes, it's something for you to think about. So you want our students now to become leaders. Great. Next point.
Should I read the next one?
Yes, please.
Which is number 12.
Yes.
Oh.
How does this project contribute to the school community?
Brilliant. Right? How does it contribute to the school and the community to make it a better place for learning and teaching? Continue, the last point.
Are these responsibilities for developing student citizenship skills through this project? If yes, explain.
So as you are going through each core skill, for example, you did with Sisvoyo communication and collaboration and digital literacy. Can I use this in my project? Now we are doing student leadership, personal development, and citizenship. Can I use this? How can I use this in my school? If there is something that I'm learning, how can I make it practical? How can I make it doable? How can I take the learning and apply it to my school? On the chat, I've also got here, just to share with you, expectation is to develop socially so that I can accept all learners' ability. To prepare learners who both succeed in the class and also in life. Brilliant, we're starting to think forward. Wonderful. So that's what citizenship is all about. That's what the core skills are all about. Brilliant. Let's move along. And now it's time to have some fun. And as you talk about, what a great point that you put, we're preparing young people for the future. So what kind of people do you want your young students to become in, let's say, 10 years from now or 20 years from now? What personal and social qualities and skills do you want them to have? So can you see we're going to put our thinking caps on? This question is not about wanting our children to become lawyers or doctors or to become rich. No, this question is about education, is about more about their personal development as individuals, as members of the community and citizens. So what kind of young people do you want to prepare for the future? So what I would like you to do now, so think of their personal attributes, think about their leadership skills, think about their citizenship skills. So I want you, remember I told you to bring paper, pen. So I want you to take out your pen, your paper, your colored pens. I want you to put on your creative hats and draw an image of the future learners and be prepared to share. So you can draw a picture of a person, do whatever you like, but most importantly, I want those points. What does this learner look like? What qualities does this learner have? What leadership skills does this learner have? What citizenship skills do these learners have? So go ahead. What does your future learner look like? I'm giving you 5 minutes for this task. I want everybody to participate and you'll please be prepared to share. So, Sis Boyo, are you keeping time for me? So you're going to draw an image.
How many minutes, Molly?
5 minutes. So I want I want our participants to draw. I can hear some humming. Somebody's giving some lovely music.
You're left with 2 minutes.
Okay. I'm hoping to see something very creative. How are we doing, guys? Shout bingo if you're done. Can I hear any bingos?
Bingo.
Bingo. Who was that? Bingo. The first bingo. Wonderful.
That's me. Poker.
Oh, wonderful, Polka. Let's hear for other bingos. Let's give other people a chance. They still have time.
Bingo.
Oh, that was a big bingo.
Impound, bingo.
Bingo, Dimpo.
Rebon, mona ke analytic akere creativity.
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 Ke tla ke kae? Nta.
E go bile e etsang eng?
Ke se ke entse mo. Ke etshehla. Ka go etshehla ke ba bona. Ba tle eno go ba.
Bingo.
Bingo. Wonderful.
Creativity. Creativity.
Bingo.
Bingo. Okay, I see we're getting many bingos. Can we stop the time then? Do people need more
Up now.
time?
Yes.
Sorry?
T, T, T,
I think we have a lot of bingos.
Jolly,
Spuyo?
intelligence. Kala tadi intelligence. Just I'm trying to
There's only one picture in
do
there. There's only one.
Okay. It doesn't matter. I want people to open their cameras and they can post on WhatsApp. Brilliant. They can post on WhatsApp or, in fact, Poka was the first one. So I'm looking at that picture now. Brilliant. And you can hold your picture up to your camera. So that will be fine. So Poka, I'm going to allow you to share. Thank you very much for participating in the activity. First of all, tell us if you enjoyed the activity.
Okay. Let me do this. I'm still.
Poka, over to you.
Okay. My.
Just hold it up to the camera.
Yes, may here it is. Can you see it?
I did see it. Yes, now I can see it. Yes.
I've just drawn this based on myself on the points I've just written here.
Yes, just tell us quickly what you have there.
That is, my head, creative head consists of the following: citizenship, creativity and imagination, critical thinking and problem solving, leadership skills and collaboration, and someone who will be globally concerned, who will be concerned with the global issues. Thank you.
Okay. So thank you, Poka. So you have really broadly stated the 6 core skills that you expect young people to have. A little bit more, if you say leadership skills, I was hoping you say what leadership skills they have. If they have communication and collaboration, what I was looking for that. So can I ask, I see there's a lovely diagram here. Tabang, can I ask you to share? But Poka, thank you so much for sharing. Tabang, can I ask you to share yours, please? What you have drawn, beautiful pictures coming up. Taban, can you share, please?
Okay, I can say that the learner that I'm expecting in 10 to 20 years to come, they are the learners that have love for their country, that have the emotional intelligence, since we have the problems of our daily lives, that should be in the position to handle every situation, that have the spirit of helping each other. The other point is they should be creative to produce things for themselves for their daily life needs. The other thing is that I would like to see them in the position whereby they enjoy working with others. That's all I've prepared. Thank you.
Wonderful. And I see, brilliant. Thank you very much. I love the point about emotional intelligence, working with each other. That's the kind of people that we want we want to see in 10 or 20 years' time. People working with each other. And you also got independence, you have respect. Brilliant point about you have your empathy, be able to solve problems, be a good listener. Those are such invaluable points that you have made. And we can take one more. Wow, I can see a lovely global, somebody has good artistic skills here. Wow, lovely. Kunene, would you like to share? Kunene, would you like to share?
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually,
Tabang, yes.
Am I clear? Do you hear me?
Yeah, don't tell us what has already been said. Try and tell us something new.
Okay, actually, the kind of the learner that I expect is the one that have interdependence, the ones that who knows how to live harmoniously with the global world. The kind of the person that knows the rights and the responsibilities for him or others. Actually, my picture says all: the identity, the needness to belong, the person who knows him or herself, knowing yourself, knowing where you will belong, and also having the skills for survival. I do think.
What do you mean by survival? What do you mean by
Yes.
skills for? What are skills for survival?
Those that others have already stipulated: creativity, problem
Okay.
solving,
Brilliant.
communication skills.
Wow.
And as well.
Brilliant. I'm with
Yes.
you. Kunene. Well done. Wow. So I want to thank each and every one of you. Oh yes, I can see that there's some beautiful, beautiful responses that have come up. And it is very heartwarming to see that you all have captured most of the points in terms of what we're looking for, in terms of what we want our young people to be. So you have got the points, and I don't want to repeat what you have already said. So I'm going to move on. Yes, is there anything else?
May I step you, Molly?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. I will say I'm looking at the different pictures, and I'm happy that you gave an instruction that they must bring in their colored pens.
Yes.
So it's like those are resources, and some of them have used resources.
Absolutely.
And I've seen the last one. The last one has also an added feature of spectacles, Sharon. The last one is saying peaceful day because there are spectacles there.
Yeah. If people notice that something new on Sharon's face today is that she has a brand new glasses. So let's say halala to Sharon for her new glasses. And she's seeing things much more clearly now. Sharon, and halala to you and for your beautiful.
Halala Sharon, halala Sharon.
And a big halala can you give me
Halala Sharon.
as well.
Halala.
La la la. Well done. Brilliantly well captured. So I'm not going to raise the point. I'm not going to re-emphasize those points because I think you'll get it. So this is what we are expecting young people to look like in 10 years' time. Surely there's something that we need to do now. Or are we going to wave a magic wand and suddenly our learners develop empathy, they learn to help each other, they learn to live harmoniously? I don't think so. So what is it that we need to do? So that brings me to this point about global citizenship. So you may or may not know, but I think it's incumbent of me perhaps just to mention this. So you look at global citizenship, okay? And it's also one of the core skills in British Council, okay? Is one of the core skills is citizenship. Now, this global citizenship is one of the sustainable development goals. Now, and you can see there, it says goal 4.7. Who can tell me, fastest fingers first, which first one now, I'm allowing you, I'm breaking the rules. You're not going to raise your hand. The first person to tell me, what is sustainable development goal 4? Shout it out quickly. It's right there.
Quality education.
Absolutely, and that is the business that we are in. We are in the business, ladies and gentlemen, of providing quality education, which is sustainable development goal number 4. Now, you may or may not know, for each goal, there is a target. And for each target, there is an indicator. For example, under quality learning, we have a number of targets, like 4.1 talks about pre-primary education, 4.2 talks about compulsory free primary education. But here we are looking at 4.7, which is a target, and it talks about global citizenship, and which you have already mentioned in your drawings. Can somebody quickly read what 4.7 says? And I want you to listen very carefully. This is part of what we are supposed to be doing at school, which is quality learning. And this under quality learning is 4.7. This is a target. So who would like to read that? Kudena, would you like to read that, please?
Okay, I'm here, Molly.
Okay.
Says, this is Sustainable Development Goal 4.7. By 2030, ensure that all learners acquire the knowledge and skills needed to promote sustainable development goals, including, among others, through education for sustainable development and sustainable lifestyles, human rights, gender equality, promotion of culture and peace and non-violence global citizenship, and appreciation of cultural diversity and of culture's contribution to sustainable development.
So this is a target. Thank you very much, Hunene. Thank you. So this is what we are hoping to achieve by 2030, which is not very far away, right? Now, these are the knowledge and the skills needed to promote this sustainable development goal, which falls under quality learning, which is goal number 4.7, which talks about global citizenship. And also British Council, we also have as our core skill, we have citizenship as well. So I asked you in my last session about the sustainable development goals. Whose responsibility was it? And here it is in black and white, that it is the responsibility. It is our collective responsibility as educational practitioners to create awareness about these goals and also to embed these goals in our everyday teaching and learning. In fact, it's mandatory that we do it, because if we don't, how will these goals be achieved? Okay, so here I want us to answer honestly. So for each goal we have an indicator. Indicator means how are we going to achieve those goals? The indicator, remember you told us what you want this learner to look like. How would we know we are achieving this goal? The extent to which global citizenship education and education for sustainable development, including gender equality and human rights, are embedded and mainstreamed at all levels. What levels? We want this sustainable development goal of global citizenship to be in national policy. We want it to be in our curriculum. We want teachers to know about it. We want it to be in education assessment. We want it to be in student assessment. Is it there, ladies and gentlemen? Let's answer very openly. Let's answer very honestly. I have a continuum here. I have a scale, can you see? 1 to 10. To what extent, look at your own school, to what extent do teachers know about the sustainable development goals? To what extent do they know about quality learning as a goal? To what extent is this awareness being created in our school? To what extent are we educating young people regarding this? So in the WhatsApp, in the chat, on a scale of 1 to 10, is this happening in your schools? If that's the kind of learners we want to see, are we creating an awareness in our school? On a scale of 1 to 10, be honest. You can just write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right up to 10. You can put it in the WhatsApp group. Let's do a quick analysis. So off you go. 1 minute. Yes, I'm waiting for responses. Is this happening in your school? 8. Spoka, whoa, you'll have to share with us what you are doing. Brilliant. You got an 8. Yes, be open and honest. Does everybody know about the Sustainable Development Goals? 6 out of 10, Sidwell. Thank you. Yes. Can we have more responses? Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Open and honest. Limpo with being honest. 7 out of 10. Okay. Anybody else? You can unmute and tell us as well. 6. That's a very high score. That's 60%. That means your learners know about global citizenship. They know about responsibilities. They know about rights. They know about climate change. They know about all the sustainable development goals. So there is an awareness. Another 6, yes. Anybody else? Yes. Let's hear. 5, yes. Okay, thank you. The minute is up. Okay, let's have the first one is I am 8 out of 10. So can you tell us what are you doing differently and your teacher and your learners for global citizenship? Tell us how are you making your learners citizens or
Okay.
active citizens? How are you doing this at school? So we're focusing on citizenship for now.
Thank you. On citizenship, before I can go there, my students and teachers already know about this 17 goals. So we started by engaging on goal number 3 for 2 years, and now we are on quality education. So I do this by I've just created the strategic direction of my school. Firstly, I made sure that I ensure there is a vision for the school is clearly articulated, shared, understood, and acted upon effectively by all. I also, this direction works within the school community to translate the vision into agreed objectives and personal plans which will achieve sustained school improvement. Thirdly, it embodies the vision and values through daily practice and continual advocacy. And fourth one, it motivates and works with others to create an effective school climate and shared culture. So there are so many, I can mention so many things that are, that's why I say there is an awareness, and this awareness has been done due to the strategic direction I have created in my school. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. So clearly you have demonstrated that you are intentional about these sustainable development goals. You are focusing on goal number 4. And in particular, we want to know how are you promoting the idea of citizenship and global citizenship. And personally, I just want to share I'll just share a quick story. I went to a school and I was doing coaching and mentoring for a particular head teacher. And as we walked around, I went into a classroom and I noticed that the floor was very dirty. So I started immediately by picking up the papers, and then there were a couple of children in the classroom, and I asked the children, who does the school belong to? I was pleasantly surprised when all of the children immediately looked at the principal and said the school belongs to him. This was a bit surprising. So we talk about citizenship, we talk about being intentional in our practices. How about tomorrow in your school, if your school is Lesotho High School, how about tomorrow you have signs all over that says, this is my school, I belong to it and it belongs to me. Lesotho High School is my school. I belong to it and it belongs to me. Creating a culture of citizenship and a sense of belonging. Because I noticed in the chat you spoke about vandalism as well. So thank you for sharing. Here is a point to think about. How can we make this become real in our schools? So thank you for being open and honest. The purpose of self-assessment or an assessment is to see where am I, where do I need to be, and how can I get there? So here are some ideas. Take a look at that. So if we want to create citizens or global citizens, I believe in starting with citizenship first, active citizenship. What are the skills that we need to develop? And this is what the research is telling us. Cognitive skills, socio-emotional skills, which you already pointed out in your drawing, and behavioral skills. So let us look at the first one, cognitive skill. To acquire knowledge, understanding, and critical thinking about global issues and interconnectedness, interdependency of countries and different populations. So I want you to think about let's look at our own context. What opportunities are there in school? What opportunities are there in individual lessons, in individual subjects, in individual learning areas for us to develop this cognitive skills? So I know you're creating awareness amongst amongst teachers. What other opportunities are there to develop these cognitive skills on the first point in this image? Are there opportunities in the school? Yes, no? You can look at the socio-emotional skills or the behavioral skills and ask yourself, is there an opportunity in the history class or the geography class? That is what I'm looking at. Are there opportunities for us to embed this in the curriculum? And where are those opportunities? Yes, I'm looking for voices. I want to hear voices, or you can put them in the WhatsApp chat. Yes, where are the opportunities? Do opportunities exist in your school to develop cognitive, socio-emotional, and behavioral skills? You've already spoke about them in your drawing. These are the key skills that you spoke about in your drawings. So how do we put them into practice in our school? Yes, do we have a hands up, Ms. Boyo? Yes, there are opportunities. Sidwell, can you tell me about those opportunities? What opportunities? Yes, you spoke about your strategic plan. What opportunities do you create to develop cognitive, socio-emotional, and behavioral skills at your school? For young people to develop their citizenship skills and become active citizens. Tell us. Oh, Limpo says we do a lot of recycling, reuse. Wow, great. That's certainly developing citizenship skills, right? Addressing this, the issue of climate change. Great. Yes, I'm giving you time to respond. Good. There are opportunities in life skill lesson. Definitely. I want you to be able to identify these areas so that we can be intentional about it and we can start infusing and embedding it in the curriculum. Brilliant. Where else are those opportunities? Life skills, recycling, where else? Languages, yes, in the language classroom. Maybe you can tell us a little bit more. Social science, how in social science? Sidwell, how can we bring these elements in social science?
Let me check if
I want us to start seeing the relationship between the theory and the practice. How can we actually bring this to life in the curriculum, in our school, and make sure that the learner that we want to see in 10 or 20 years' time is the learner that we start preparing, we equipping from today? Yes?
Yes, I do think that when you are looking at these global goals and focusing on the goal number 4, quality education, most of the goals here, you shall see to it that they are underpinned under different learning areas at our school. For example, in social sciences, there are topics that we can deal with, focusing on the life below water and life on land.
Brilliant.
So those are the kind of the topics that are found under different learning areas at our schools.
Great. So that's developing, that talks to point number one, cognitive, where they have critical thinking about global issues and the interconnectedness and interdependency. So life below the sea, life on earth. So the social sciences create beautiful opportunities for that. Brilliant. And then life skills is socio-emotional. And what about behavioral? To act responsible at local, national, global level. What about behavior, change of behavior? How can we do this? We spoke about this in our project. Are children acting responsibly when they come late to school? Are teachers acting responsibly when they are getting absent from school? So how can we bring about behavioral changes? Let's dig a little bit deeper into that. What can we do? We say sharing whatever they will have, practice socio-emotional, okay, sharing, yes, sharing whatever they have, that's brilliant. Group work where they are using child-centered approaches, yes. That will result in behavioral changes, great. So can you see opportunities now? What I want you to do, I would like you to see opportunities where you can actually start implementing these ideas in the curriculum to bring about these changes, to improve cognitive, socio-emotional, and behavioral changes by implementing ideas about global citizenship and active citizenship. Example, we gave recycling in our school. So there must be a relevance between the theory and the practice. I'm being mindful about time, where they are using child-centered. Yes, we spoke about that. Are there any questions so far in terms of citizenship and personal development and leadership? Can you see how we can create leadership opportunities as well for young people to make them become responsible and take leadership for their own lives? Right? And this is the slide that I've done, is talking about how we can integrate it. And I want to do a final activity now that we have gone through student leadership and global citizenship. What kind of children you want young people to be in the future? What is your definition of global citizenship? You can start off and I'll allow you to continue thinking. So what do you think? What is your definition of global citizenship?
Being a member of the whole globe.
So just being a member of the whole globe is global citizenship, would you say? Is it enough to just be a member?
And being an active member of a citizenship.
Being an active member. Can you see how that puts a spin on thing? And how can one be active? So remember, young people, we're expecting them to act at a local level. So how can they be active? You already gave some examples. How can they be active?
There's a hand up, Molly.
Yes.
Chalks.
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, this is not Chalks. I told to Molly that this is Leslie. I'm using, he's my colleague. Chalks is my colleague.
Oh, you're sharing phones.
Yes, yes.
Okay, Leslie, go ahead. Let's hear from you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, I've got a problem with my device. Now, talking about the global citizenship, I think it all involves a learner who becomes part of the globe due to the skills that he or she has acquired from the school level. You know, these skills may include critical thinking ability, you may include conflict resolution, you may include problem solving skills, and many other skills.
Yes.
So to say this, we are having a learner who can adapt to every situation all over the world. So it all comprises that. I think that is all.
Thank you, Leslie. Before the learner becomes a global citizen, Where does it all start? Can you become a global citizen overnight? Where does it all start? Where does it start? Okay, Leslie, I can see you're having problems with connectivity. So I'll just say the final thing on with regards to global citizen. It is our belief that we cannot aspire for global citizenship because citizenship, or I firmly believe, citizenship starts in the home. There's a sense of belonging. This is my home. I have rights and I have responsibilities. I am a citizen of the school. I have rights and responsibilities. What difference will we make? I said tomorrow, this is my school, I belong to it and it belongs to me. Imagine if that was plastered all over the school, what would change? What would be different? Will children now start to own the school and look at it differently? So these are things that we need to start to think about, simple things that can make a huge difference in embedding the idea about citizenship, sense of belonging, empathy, everything, in fact, that you spoke about in your images that you want learners to become. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm now going to come towards the end. And remember, we always start with the end in mind. This is what we looked at. Imagine the kind of citizens that you would like students to become. Apply leadership and personal development and citizenship to their own practice. How can we use it in practice? What were the opportunities in the curriculum? We define global citizenship and discuss the development of citizenship skills among their students. We looked at the school and how we can do it and how we can use it in our projects. And we started to use ideas that we can use in our schools. So, having looked at these various outcomes and what we have done today, I want to ask you, what have you learned today that you think, listen, this is something that I can do? Remember, you did an evaluation where you are in your school in terms of the SDGs. What do you think? So what will you take away from today's session? What learning, what's key? I can use this in my school. I can use this in my school to make a difference, to embed the idea of student leadership and citizenship. So over to you, and look at the person. Can you see the people moving towards the goal here? You can follow my arrow. There's your goals. You can see a person there. So it's time to take action. What action will you take? What will you take away from today's presentation? So over to you. Let's hear in the WhatsApp group, and you can tell me. What's your takeaway? What's your learning points? What will you think about after this session? Aha, Limpo, this is my school, my toy, my home. Yes, without being selfish, but if you, it's about taking ownership. If it's my school, then it's my responsibility to take care of it. Citizenship, this is my school, yes? Okay, good. What else will you be taking away from today's session? What have you learned today that you can apply in your own context? Yes, you are typing in the chat. Can I hear from somebody? Being aware of what's happening in the whole world. Yes, being aware.
Hello, Molly.
Yes.
I will take this one of citizenship.
Yes.
I've just learned that this citizenship involves, or it refers to, or it needs one to know the identity or the geography of where he or she is living, the political status of the area where he or she is living, even in the global. He or she should know the rights, responsibilities, and that person should also be a peaceful social. He or she should have a peaceful and social relations, and should always be sharing.
Yes, thank you very much. That will be your takeaways from today's session, and think about how you're going to apply it in your school. Brilliant. Thank you so much. Can we hear from one more person? Thank you. Citizenship starts at home. Yes, definitely. Advocating the total ownership of our school to all the stakeholders. That is it. This school belongs to me. It belongs to the community. This is our school. We need to protect it. I love it. Leadership begins with you. Yes, I mentioned that. If you want to make a difference, leadership begins with you. A problem, you might not be the problem to your colleague. I am responsible on things around me, especially learners' future to be bright. Yes, remember you drew that learner. Commitment to global citizenship outlooks. Brilliant, Sidwell. So there needs to be a commitment. Well done. Thank you very much. That brings us to a close. In fact, the next part is where you actually take away from all the sessions, critical thinking, problem solving, where you take from each of the sessions that we have done, creativity and imagination, communication and collaboration, digital literacy, citizenship, student leadership. From each of the sessions, what will you take and implement in your school? We shall continue that discussion in our WhatsApp group, but most importantly, I'm really excited about all those who are going to be committed about working on absenteeism and late coming, where we have agreed on JPD or joint practice development. I'm very excited about that. Ladies and gentlemen, do you have any questions? I want to end on this note. If your action inspires others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, then you are a leader. And I have no doubt that each and every person, each and every leader on this chat is equal to the task, committed to making a difference and improving the lives of our young children. So on that note, I want to hand over to Madam Sharon or Sis Vuyo for any final comments, and we will continue with our discussions and our implementation. Otherwise, it just becomes learning. If it doesn't result in any change, then we have failed. Sis Vuyo, any points from you, sis? Anything that you want to say?
Normally, nothing to say except just to put emphasis on your last slide.
Yes.
The reason we have this workshop is for them to aspire to inspire before they expire.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Well put. Right? And leadership starts with me, and I can make a difference.
Bye, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody want to make any comments? We'll just hand over to you. Any comments? Sis Vuyo, I know you have another meeting to go to. Anybody got any final comments to make as we bring to a close the core skills and get excited about implementing in school? Anybody got any comments?
Can I quickly jump in, Molly?
Yes.
Again, I always finish the sessions with heaps of praise for the facilitators and the participants because it's wonderful. On every level, it's wonderful. You know, I hear the communications coming from Lesotho and your understanding of these really difficult concepts and how they need to be embedded in your schools is just amazing. It's wonderful. It's just such a huge change. And I think something that we're all realizing is that we all have to be active in solving our own problems rather than laying the blame at anybody's door. And, you know, we're always going to be frustrated with the government and the way things are handled, but each of you have the capacity here to make some huge changes in your school. For your colleagues that took part in the core skills course just before the winter holidays, I'm going to ask them to now start showcasing some core skills in their classes and start experimenting with the techniques and the strategies that they learned last time. So please have a conversation with them now over the next week. Obviously, some of you were on that course, but those of you that weren't, your teachers that attended the core skills training previously, please collaborate with them now and have a conversation, because I think we can see some amazing outcomes coming from this work together. So well done.
Well done.
Thank you so much, Sharon, for those lovely sentiments. And that's what we said. It's about creating an enterprising mindset where we don't complain, we don't see challenges, but rather we see opportunities. We don't see failures, but we see success. And if you dream it, then you certainly can live it. And that's what we're hoping to see in Lesotho. So thank you, Sharon, for those lovely closing sentiments. And let's say a big halala to everybody. You can unmute halala. Thank you so much for your participation, your engagement. I just love listening to your lovely points and looking forward to great things from Lesotho. So unmute everybody, halala and bye-bye.
Halala.
Halala.